So I was looking at my video list the other day and I realized, oh my god, Mark, you haven't made off-season grades videos yet. Yeah, I don't know how I missed this one. Just kind of flew by me. But hey, that's what you're getting today. I'm gonna go ahead and give a grade to all 30 Major League Baseball teams off-seasons based on the moves they made, based on the players they brought in, based on the players they sent out, and give you my thoughts and opinions as I always do. So if you guys do enjoy this video, of course, a lot of time and effort goes into it. Really does help if you do drop a like on it. That's the best way to show your support on the channel. As well as if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you click that sub button and join the team, as well as get in the comment section down below and let me know your thoughts and opinions on all the grades that I drop in today's video. And last but not least, make sure you follow me on all my social media, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everything at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in the description. So in the past, I've been a little bit random. You know what? We're gonna go division by division, starting it off in the American League East. And let's go with the Orioles first. The Orioles have not done a whole lot this offseason. Players they brought in, Robinson Chirinos, Jordan Lyles, and ROUGNED ODOR. Yeah, I'm sorry, Orioles fans. It's an F. I wish you guys could have done more. Like, yes, you have a competent second base. You have a competent catcher. Jordan Lyles will pitch. But this is not it. This is not a team that got any better this offseason. So for that reason, I have to give an F. This team is still not very good. Although, shout out to Cedric Mullins. Love Cedric Mullins. How about the Toronto Blue Jays? Let's head a little north of the border. They had a really active offseason. While they did lose guys like Marcus Semien and Robbie Ray, they did bring in Matt Chapman, who's going to be playing third base every day for them, and he's pretty good. Kevin Gausman to kind of fill in that hole for Robbie Ray, and Gausman in this rotation fits extremely well. I love what they were able to do with other pitchers. I can't wait to see what they do with Gausman. You also add Yusei Kikuchi to the starting rotation for some depth, Yimi Garcia to the bullpen, and then some bench pieces, Raimel Tapia, and I can't believe I'm saying it, the greatest first baseman of all time, Greg Bird. Yeah, Greg Bird's going to make noise this year in Toronto. He's going to be good. He's tearing it up in spring trade. Blue Jays were kind of tough because they did lose some guys, but they brought in good pieces. I honestly think the Blue Jays are going to be a B+. There's a lot of stuff that the Blue Jays did well that I like, and they're a team that is actively trying to get better. I think they are a serious contender in all of Major League Baseball right now. The Boston Red Sox, a huge late splash, grabbing Trevor Story. That's their big move this offseason. Otherwise, it's kind of been all small ones. Jackie Bradley Jr. in the Hunter Renfroe trade, Rich Hill, James Paxton, Michael Wacha, Jake Diekman, and Matt Strom. A lot of pitching depth. No big names, but a lot of depth. A lot of left-handed arms as well, actually. They're almost all left-handed. I will say, though, Trevor Story is their saving grace. Trevor Story changes this team. He changes this lineup. He changes the complexion of this entire roster. I like this move. I think they could have done more, which is why I'm going to give them a B+. They got better. Not a whole lot. How about those Tampa Bay Rays? The Tampa Bay Rays, you know, it's hard to grade them because they make a lot of moves that won't make a massive impact right now on paper, but we know by the end of the year, I'm going to look stupid for saying this. I ended up giving the Rays a D, and the reason being is that they didn't make any sort of splash. Like, Corey Kluber was a safe signing. I'm sure he's going to end up being great, and Brooks Raley is going to be lights out in the bullpen. Those are moves that are going to help this team, but on paper, they aren't sexy. And then other additions of Jason Adam, Harold Ramirez, and Luke Raley. I can't get excited about those names, so it's a D right now, but I know that I'm going to eat my words within the next, I don't know, week or so. And then for the last team in the AL East, we have the New York Yankees, who had an interesting offseason, connected to a lot of big names, and they ended up getting none of them. That being said, I don't think they had the worst offseason. I also just don't think it's the best. Anthony Rizzo comes back. They traded for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and Josh Donaldson along with Ben Rortvedt, and they brought back Tim LeCastro. I give the Yankees a C+. I think they actually got better because I think Donaldson's better at third base than Giovanni Urshela. I think at shortstop, IKF is going to bring more value than whoever the Yankees were going to have if it wasn't Carlos Correa or Corey Seager or Trevor Story, one of those names. So I think there is an improvement here, but it's ever so slight. I think it's a C+ for the Yankees. To the National League East we go, and of course, I'm going to start it off with my New York Mets. The Mets made a ton of moves this offseason. Max Scherzer, of course, the big splash, the biggest name on the pitching market. I can't believe we got Max Scherzer still. It doesn't feel real. Somebody pinch me. We also brought in Chris Bassett in a trade with the Oakland A's, Adam Ottavino for some bullpen help, and then offensively, Starling Marte, Eduardo Escobar, and Mark Canha. I really loved all the Mets moves that they made this offseason. I think they got a lot better as a team and are a legitimate World Series contender this year. Scherzer's a legitimate ace. Chris Bassett's a great number 2. The Mets have a really strong pitching staff. They have a really strong lineup. Love it. The Mets get an A. Now let's talk about those defending World Series champs Atlanta Braves, because I know I just hyped up the Mets, but the Braves, they made some noise this offseason too. This team got better, which is crazy to say because they lost Freddie Freeman, but I don't know. Matt Olson, pretty good. Might be better than Freddie Freeman right now. And then on the bullpen side, which has always been what I consider to be their weak point, they brought in Kenley Jansen, who's a really nice addition. Colin McHugh is going to be annoying to go up against. I don't want to see him late in games because he's got nasty stuff and he's going to be able to be a swingman man at times. And then depth-wise, like Kirby Yates will pitch at some point. Alex Dickerson is a great platoon player. Manny Pena is a good backup catcher. I like what the Braves did. I'm going to give the Braves an A, which is crazy to say in an offseason where you lose Freddie Freeman, but bringing in Matt Olson, signing him to an extension, Kenley Jansen, Colin McHugh, I like what they did here. The Washington Nationals, it's not your year, guys. It's not your year. Juan Soto's great, but these moves, they don't get me excited. Nelson Cruz, Sean Doolittle, Cesar Hernandez, Anibal Sanchez, Steve Cishek, Ira Adrianza. I mean, you see the names I'm listing here. There's not a whole lot here. I'm giving the Nationals a D. Nelson Cruz is cool. The Miami Marlins actually are gonna be competitive this year. I don't hate what they did. I would have loved to see them address the bullpen a little bit more because I do think that's a place of concern, but they brought in Jorge Soler, a very good power bat. Avisail Garcia is one of the most underrated players in the game. I love bringing him into Miami. And then you got really good defensive players in Jacob Stallings behind the plate, which was a huge issue for the Marlins, and Joey Wendell, who's going to be able to play multiple positions and play good defense and be a scrappy player. I end up giving the Marlins a C+ because I would have loved to have seen them add to the pitching a little bit more, but offensively, I do think this team improved. You know what? I'm going to give them a B-. Scratch that. Marlins get a B-. This team is going to be much better than they were last year. And then for the last and final team in the National League East, we got the Philadelphia Phillies, who everybody knows about the moves they made. Big bats. Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber lead this free agent class for the Phillies. Those are two huge bats to bring into a bandbox of a stadium. Their lineup's potent. And then on the pitching side, they brought in Jerry's Familia, Brad Hand, Corey Knebel. I'm torn with the Phillies because I really thought they should have been on like a third baseman, on a shortstop, and they ended up just getting two more corner outfielders, DH type players. They're better without a doubt, but I don't think these are the moves that makes the Phillies a dangerous team to take over the Mets or the Braves right now. So I give the Phillies a B-. Let's keep it in the National League, NL Central, starting it off with the Chicago Cubs, who have been very active. Their big splash, of course, well, two of them, I guess, Marcus Stroman and SEIYA Suzuki, two guys that I do like that make this team better. SEIYA Suzuki might struggle a little bit this first year, but Stroman's going to be a beast every single time he goes out there. And then they got a bunch of just the rest of it. That could be interesting. Andrelton Simmons, Yan Gomes, Drew Smiley, Jonathan VR, Michael Givens, David Robertson, Chris Martin, Clint Frazier, Wade Miley. The rotation is decent. The bullpen, much improved. I like the arms they got in the bullpen. They're mid-level relievers who can give you some good performances. And then you got Clint Frazier and Jonathan VR and Andrelton Simmons. Depth. I'll give the Cubs a C+ because I don't like that the Ricketts still play poor, but they also did go get players. They're just like not a good team yet, but they're not the worst in that division. The St. Louis Cardinals, a team that is competing for the top spot in the National League Central for sure. You expect them to do a lot more this offseason, and well, Cardinals fans, I think you agree, it's kind of lackluster. Steven Matz and Albert Pujols seem to be the big names that the Cardinals brought in, and then you have like Corey Dickerson, Nick Whitgren, and Drew Verhaeghe. This is an exciting offseason for the Cardinals. It's going to be a D. Steven Matz will be great out in St. Louis because he's just got the great defense behind him, but that simply can't be the only move the Cardinals make. The Pittsburgh Pirates, yeah, this one's an F. The Pirates just didn't do anything. Like, their best move might be getting Adonis Medina, former Phillies pitching prospect, off of waivers, but Vogelbach, like, he's fun, but is he good? Heath Hembree, good reliever. He's going to be a trade piece at some point. Roberto Perez, like, oh man, these are replacement players. Sorry, Pittsburgh. Milwaukee Brewers. I love the Brewers. Kind of similar to the Rays. I'm sure I'm going to eat my words here. I ended up giving them a C. I like Andrew McCutchen. Good. He's still got a little bit of life in that bat, and he crushes left-handed pitching. Hunter Renfroe, better than Jackie Bradley Jr., so I like that addition. And Pedro Severino, again, going to fit these platoons well. These guys are going to have their spots where they work, but nothing makes you go, oh my goodness, they got this guy. And then pitching-wise, Trevor Gott, JC Mejia, Mike Brasso on the offensive side as well, another platoon player. Brewers, I gave a C+. Again, I know they're going to be good. I know these are moves that makes this team better, but how much better? That's the question. For the last team in the National League Central, the Cincinnati Reds, and honestly, I had a hard time here because F the Reds. Give them an F for what they did this year with just like tearing it down for seemingly no reason, but I can't give them an F because they did get two good prospects back in Brandon Williamson and Chase Petty. Those are two legit arms, and they got capable major league players in Mike Minor, Tommy Pham, Colin Moran, Hunter Strickland, Jake Fraley, Justin Dunn, Donovan Solano. D+. That's what I ended up going with. Just sell the team, man. Sell the team, Castellini. Sell it. As for the AL Central, we're going to get it started off with the Detroit Tigers, who I ended up giving a B grade. I liked what the Tigers did this offseason for a team that is definitely coming out of the rebuild and looking to push forward to be competitive. Fork and Green, they're coming soon. Michael Pineda, nice on the pitching side, along with Eduardo Rodriguez, two very solid starters who are going to benefit from being in Detroit. And then Andrew Chafin, a nice left-handed reliever, one of the top left-handed arms on the market. In terms of offense, we saw them trade for Tucker Barnhart Barnhart early, and the big piece was Javier Baez, who I think is a good player. He was great for the Mets last year. If he can actually stay patient at the plate and walk, the sky's the limit for Javi. I give the Tigers a B, like I said. The Kansas City Royals, this offseason wasn't it. Like, Zach Greinke coming back is cool. I think that's a cool move. He's gonna end his career in Kansas City. And Amir Garrett was a nice flip for Mike Minor, but this is a D. This team did not get much better. There's just not a whole lot here in Kansas City with the moves that they made. Cleveland Guardians, F. Luke Miley. Luke Miley? That's the move? Luke Miley? F. Guardians, F. Michael Conforto's on the market. I know he has the shoulder thing, but this is an F. This is terrible. Fuzzy, I feel for you, man. This is poverty. Minnesota Twins. Minnesota Twins had an off season. First off, pulling off that highway robbery, bringing in IKF and then flipping him immediately to the Yankees, and then getting the guy the Yankees should have gotten, Carlos Correa. Masterclass, Minnesota. Masterclass. You get some claps for me. Along with bringing in Gary and Giovanni Urshela. Urshela's a major league capable player. He'll be fine. Gary Sanchez, high risk, high reward. Let's put it that way. I would love to see him play well, though, in Minnesota as soon as he's out of New York. Like, I'm rooting for Gary now. And then you got Sonny Gray, which I really like in that ballpark with that rotation. Dylan Bundy's good depth starting pitching. I'm giving the Twins an A. Who saw them getting Carlos Correa? Wasn't me. That's a great move. Last but not least, the Chicago White Sox. Tony La Russa and that weird ball club out in Chicago. You didn't bring back Rodon, which I can't even believe that. Did get Kendall Graveman, though, to go into a crazy bullpen of Graveman, Kimbrel, Liam Hendricks. Added Joe Kelly as well. Added Vince Velasquez, who, make Vince Velasquez a reliever, please. He'd be so sick. And then offensively, Josh Harrison, Adam Hazley. This is a very Tony La Russa offseason. I couldn't have summed it up any better. Josh Harrison feels like such a Tony La Russa player. I don't know how much better they got, though. Good arms in the bullpen. Was that their biggest issue, though? I don't know. C+. And this leads us now to the last two divisions. We're going out west. AL West, Los Angeles Angels. It looked rough, Angels fans. It looked like you weren't going to do anything. And while you kind of didn't, you also kind of did. You brought back Rizal, which was a really good move, and you brought in Aaron Loop, who's a really good guy. Those 1-2 right now in the bullpen are strong, along with adding Tepera and Archie Bradley. 4 strong arms out there in the bullpen. Well done, Angels. It's good. Noah Syndergaard on the starting pitching side on a weird 1-year, $20 million deal. He's going to use the Angels as rehab and then get paid. I don't know how much he's going to be able to throw. I really don't. Like 100 innings, that's probably what you get out of Syndergaard. Matt Duffy, Michael Lorenzen, Tyler Wade, whatever. I like Michael Lorenzen, though. Gave the Angels a B-. The bullpen's improved. This team is better. I just still don't buy in on the Angels because they have no starting pitching. The Houston Astros, shockingly, gonna get one of my worst grades. I'm gonna give them a D. Few moves. Hector NERIS, Justin Verlander's back, and then NIKO GOODRUM, which, whatever. And I included Logan CERNY because he's a prospect I love, and I didn't even know they got him. He's a super exciting player. Can't wait to see what the Astros do with him. Hits the ball hard, runs fast, all those fun things. But this isn't enough. This isn't enough for a team that lost Carlos Correa. This isn't enough for a team that lost Zach Greinke. I don't like what the Astros did here. They got worse this offseason. And when you see what the other teams are doing in this division, that's scary. D. Because one of those teams that vastly improved was the Texas Rangers, who, in my opinion, had one of the best offseasons, if not the best offseason in all of Major League Baseball. Mitch Garver, great move by them. You improved the catcher. Strong up the middle, that's always important. Mitch Garver is going to rake. Talking about strong up the middle, how about Corey Seager and Marcus Semien playing shortstop and second base for the next 5, 6, 7 years? Love that. 2 absolute beasts at the plate. And Marcus Semien at second base, pretty strong defensively. Corey Seager at shortstop, not so much. Still great up the middle. Love it. How about on the pitching side? John Gray, who's going to just, he's going to break out so hard next year in Texas. He's going to be fantastic this upcoming season. Getting out of Colorado, going to Texas is going to be huge for his game. You also brought in Garrett Richards and Martin Perez for some depth. And then depth on the offensive side, Cole Calhoun and Brad Miller. I love everything Texas is doing here. A+. A++. Give it to them. They spent money. They're going for it, and they've got a loaded farm system. They're going to be dangerous. Maybe not this year, but then following year. Watch out for Texas Rangers. Another team that got better, the Seattle Mariners, who were really close to making the playoffs last year. They improved. I love to see it. They went out and they got the AL Cy Young, Robbie Ray, added him to the rotation, get him out of Toronto, and the AL East, I think he's going to possibly pitch just as well. There's a world where Robbie Ray continues to be one of the top pitchers in the American League, and the Mariners need starting pitching. Offensively, Winker, love it. Jesse Winker? I didn't even think that was a possibility. And then I know Eugenio Suarez has stunk the last 2 years, but he's still going to hit 30 homers, and there's a world where he figures it out and goes back to being a top 10 third baseman. Along with adding Adam Frazier, who I'm not big on, but depth, sure, and Sergio Romo. I like what the Mariners did. I'm giving them a B+. This American League West, it's definitely going to be tougher than we once thought. And then for the last and final team, it's the Oakland A's. F. You traded Matt Olson, traded Chris Bassett, traded Matt Chapman. You're probably going to trade Frankie Montas. You're probably going to trade Sean Manaea at some point. You're tearing it down because the Oakland A's work as a poverty franchise, despite having one of the 10 richest owners in Major League Baseball. I absolutely hate this. F. You actually got some good prospects and some good players, so it's like actually a C. But because of what I stand for as a baseball fan, F. I can't do it. I feel so bad for you Oakland A's fan. And the last and final division, of course, the National League West. San Francisco Giants. Pretty good offseason. Carlos Rodon. Fantastic. Rodon is going to be sick in San Francisco. Expect to see him be at that Cy Young caliber level as long as he's healthy. They also brought in Alex Cobb, who is sneaky. One of the most improved pitchers in all of baseball last year out in Los Angeles with the Angels. Love the addition of Alex Cobb. They also brought back Tony DeSclafani. They brought back Alex Wood. They grabbed Matt Boyd. They grabbed Carlos Martinez, Jacob Junis, all guys who they can sculpt and mold to be really, really good pitchers out in San Francisco, whether it's starting or in the bullpen. And then you brought in Jock Peterson, who's going to be, you know, Alex Dickerson, essentially, a good platoon guy, and Luke Williams, another decent little platoon guy. For the Giants, I gave them a B+. Farhan Zaidi's knowing what they're doing. Giants are dangerous in the West. But a team that's maybe not as dangerous, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yeah, I gave them a D. It's not an F because they made some improvements, but they didn't get much better. Like, honestly, signing Ketel Marte to that extension is the only thing saving you from being an F. Mark Melancon, Zach Davies, Ian Kennedy, Dan Straley, Sergio Alcantara, and Jordan Luplow. That doesn't get anybody excited. Then another really, really disappointing offseason, San Diego Padres. Yeah, Luke Voit. That's the big move, getting Luke Voit. Otherwise, it's Nick Martinez who's coming over from Japan. He might be good. We don't know. Starting pitcher. It's yet to be determined. Jorge Alfaro has looked good in spring, but it's Jorge Alfaro at the end of the day. And then Luis Garcia, Robert Suarez, and Matt Beatty. I gotta give the Padres a D. This is a very, very disappointing offseason for a team that needed to make some moves. Los Angeles Dodgers, of course, brought in Freddie Freeman, one of the biggest names of this offseason. Huge, huge move. Made their lineup so much more scary. They also brought back Clayton Kershaw and Chris Taylor, along with bringing in Andrew Heaney, Tyler Anderson, Hanser Alberto, and Daniel Hudson, along with the litany of other players that the Dodgers bring in that will end up being fantastic. I give them a B, though. It's hard to give the Dodgers an A here, despite bringing in one of the top free agents, because a lot of their big moves were honestly just bringing guys back. And when you lose Corey Seager and Max Scherzer in an offseason, it's tough. It's hard. But I still think they did get a little bit better this year, so I gave them a B. And then the last and final team in today's video, the baffling Colorado Rockies. Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant is on the Rockies. That's a thing. He's good. Is he better than Trevor Story, who they lost? Probably not, but Chris Bryant's good. And then they lost John Gray and didn't even give him a qualifying offer, which that alone, the Monforts should have to sell their entire organization. They traded for Randall Grichuk. They got Alex Colomé, Chad Kuhl, Jose Iglesias. Like, I give them a C- because they went out and spent money, weirdly enough, on a guy that was worse than the dude that they had. Like, they got worse. C-, but they're not a D or an F because they still spent money. It's so weird. The Rockies don't make any sense to me. Oh, that organization's an absolute dumpster fire. So there they are, my offseason grades for the 2022 MLB offseason. I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Who do you think had the best and worst offseason? Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as well as subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content. Follow me on all my social media, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all of it at GiraffeNeckMarc, links in the description. That's where I'm wrapping up today's video, guys. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video.